Imagine waking up, checking your bank account, and seeing a zero. Not just you, but everyone in the world who uses your bank. And the bank manager? He is sipping a fancy coffee, petting a robot cat, and shrugging his shoulders. This isn't a movie script. This is the story of the greatest heist in human history. A heist where no guns were drawn, no alarms were tripped, and the vault was emptied while the doors were wide open. It is the story of Mt. Gox. To understand how billions of dollars vanished into thin air, we have to go back to the beginning. The year is 2010. Bitcoin is basically worthless. It is just digital arcade tokens for computer nerds. But a guy named Jed has an idea. He owns a website that lets people trade digital trading cards for a game called Magic the Gathering. The website is literally called Magic the Gathering Online Exchange, or Mt. Gox for short. Jed realizes his website could be used to trade this new Bitcoin stuff instead of trading cards, so he flips a switch. Suddenly, the world has its very first cryptocurrency exchange. It explodes in popularity. But Jed doesn't want the stress of running a massive financial empire, so he sells the website to a 20-something computer programmer living in Japan named Mark Karpelis. Mark looks like your friendly neighborhood IT guy. He loves custom keyboards, expensive frappuccinos, and coding in his bedroom. He buys Mt. Gox, takes the steering wheel, and hits the gas. Almost overnight, Mt. Gox becomes the center of the financial universe. At its peak, 70% of all Bitcoin transactions on Earth are happening on this one website. If you wanted to buy Bitcoin, you went to Mark. But right as Mark is sitting on top of the world, feeling like a genius, a catastrophic flaw is exposed. Here's the first twist. The biggest financial institution in the digital world wasn't built like a bank. It was built like a child's treehouse. The code holding billions of dollars together was held up by digital duct tape. In the summer of 2011, a hacker figures this out. They sneak into the Mt. Gox systems and trigger a massive sell-off. In a matter of minutes, the price of Bitcoin on the website crashes from $17 all the way down to a single penny. Panic erupts. People are watching their life savings evaporate in real time. Mark manages to pull the plug, shut down the website, and reverse the damage. He promises everyone that Mt. Gox is secure. He promises he has built a new, uncrackable titanium vault to hold everyone's digital money. But here's the problem with building a titanium vault. It doesn't matter how thick the front door is if you accidentally leave the back window wide open. Over the next 2 years, the price of Bitcoin skyrocketed. It goes from $10 to $100 to $1,000. The media is going crazy. Wall Street is paying attention, and Mark Karpelis is living like a digital king in Tokyo. He upgrades to a massive luxury office. He builds a custom cafe just for his employees. He even spends a fortune on a high-tech robotic cat that wanders around the office. Millions of dollars in fees are rolling in every single day. Mt. Gox is a money-printing machine. People are depositing their life savings into Mark's system, trusting that their digital gold is locked away safely in his giant impenetrable vault. But behind the scenes, something entirely different is happening, something completely invisible. Here's the second twist. That back window we talked about, it wasn't just open. Someone had been climbing through it every single day for years. You see, Mark was the only person with the keys to the main vault. He controlled everything, but his security system was so incredibly bad that a thief had quietly copied the digital key. Instead of blowing up the vault and stealing everything at once, which would set off the alarms, the thief was just taking a handful of coins every single day. It was like a cashier stealing a $10 bill from the register at the end of every shift. If the boss doesn't count the money, the cashier never gets caught. And Mark Karpelis was not counting the money. He was too busy buying expensive gadgets and giving interviews. Meanwhile, a ghost was draining the lifeblood out of the company. As 2013 rolls into 2014, the cracks start to show. People using the website notice that when they try to pull their money out of Mt. Gox, it takes a really long time. First, it takes a few days, then it takes a few weeks. Finally, the withdrawals stop completely. Customers are furious. They send emails, they make phone calls, nothing but automated replies. People are so angry that they actually fly all the way to Tokyo, stand outside the Mt. Gox office building, and hold up giant protest signs begging for their money back. Mark finally makes an announcement. He blames a technical glitch. He claims there's a bug in the Bitcoin network called transaction malleability. In simple terms, he is saying that hackers are using fake receipts to trick the system into paying them twice. He tells everyone not to worry. He just needs to hit pause, check the vault, and fix the glitch. But the glitch was a lie. The real twist was waiting inside the vault. Up until this very moment, Mark had never actually opened the master vault to count the money. He just looked at a spreadsheet on his computer and assumed the money was there. But with thousands of angry customers demanding their cash, Mark is finally forced to open the main digital safe. He types in the password, he hits enter, and he stares at the screen in pure horror. The vault isn't just low on funds, it is completely, utterly empty. Gone. 850,000 Bitcoin have vanished into the digital wind. At the time, it was worth about $500 million. Today, that amount of Bitcoin would be worth tens of billions of dollars. It is gone. Mark shuts down the website entirely. He replaces the homepage with a blank white screen and a short, confusing apology. The global Bitcoin market goes into absolute freefall. The price plummets. News anchors declare that Bitcoin is dead. People who trusted Mt. Gox lose their houses, their college funds, their entire futures. Mark Karpeles is dragged into a press conference in Japan. He bows deeply in front of flashing cameras, apologizing for the weaknesses in the system. He declares bankruptcy. But the question on everyone's mind is, where did the money go? You can't just hide $1 billion under a mattress. Investigators from all over the world descend on the Mt. Gox servers. They dig through the digital ashes, trying to follow the footprints of the ghost thief. And what they find is shocking. The actual hack didn't happen overnight. It had been happening slowly, day by day, since 2011. For 3 entire years, the company was actually bankrupt, and Mark had absolutely no idea. But the story doesn't end there, with an empty vault. Just when investigators think all hope is lost, a massive, mind-bending twist completely flips the case upside down. A month after the company collapses and everyone is told their money is gone forever, Mark makes a sudden, miraculous discovery. He claims he was looking through some old digital files, basically rummaging through a dusty digital drawer, and he accidentally found a forgotten digital wallet. Inside this forgotten digital wallet were 200,000 Bitcoin, millions and millions of dollars just sitting there. Mark hands this found money over to the bankruptcy lawyers, but the customers are furious. How do you accidentally lose and then magically find hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin? Conspiracy theories explode across the internet. People accuse Mark of faking the hack. They accuse him of hiding the money to keep it for himself. They call him a criminal mastermind playing dumb. But the reality was far more embarrassing. He wasn't an evil genius. He was just incredibly, dangerously incompetent. He had built a massive financial empire on top of a wobbly folding table, and he didn't even know where his own money was kept. Eventually, the police in Japan arrest Mark Karpeles. They throw him in a tiny jail cell without a bed. He spends nearly a year locked away, losing massive amounts of weight, while prosecutors try to pin the gigantic theft on him. But after months of intense digging by blockchain experts, the truth finally comes out. Mark didn't steal the money. Russian hackers did. A shadowy cyber criminal network had been funneling the stolen Mt. Gox Bitcoin through another shady digital exchange on the other side of the world. Mark was cleared of the massive theft, though he was found guilty of manipulating some computer data to cover up the mess. You would think the story ends here, with the victims getting whatever is left and Mark walking away in disgrace. But the financial world loves a cruel joke, and the final twist in the Mt. Gox saga is the wildest one of all. Remember those 200,000 Bitcoin that Mark magically found in the old digital drawer? Well, bankruptcy law in Japan is very strict. When Mt. Gox went bankrupt in 2014, the court locked in the value of everyone's lost money based on the price of Bitcoin on that specific day. In 2014, Bitcoin was worth about $400, so the court said the victims were only owed $400 per coin. But it takes years to sort out a massive international bankruptcy, and over those years, the price of Bitcoin didn't stay at $400. It climbed to $10,000, then $20,000, then $30,000. Suddenly, the 200,000 Bitcoins sitting in the lawyer's vault were worth billions and billions of dollars, far more than what the court legally owed the angry customers. And according to Japanese law, once the debts are paid off at the 2014 price, any leftover money legally belongs to the owner of the company. That meant Mark Karpeles, the man who accidentally allowed the greatest heist in human history, the man who ruined thousands of lives through pure laziness, was about to become one of the richest men on earth because he broke his own company. The victims were outraged. They fought back violently in court, demanding the law be changed to a civil rehabilitation process so they could get their actual Bitcoin back, not the old 2014 dollar value. It was a massive legal war.